Hi guys, how you all doing? Hope you're doing great today. So I just wanted to talk to you about a topic that I've seen in discussion quite a bit in other groups, and whether it's just because it's on my mind so I'm starting to notice it, but I wanted to talk to you about embracing your introvert and kind of putting some context around being an introvert, because the posts I'm seeing tend to be a bit focused on introversion as a potential stumbling block to your entrepreneurial success. How do you cope with going live or showing up every day when you're an introvert? So I want to address these issues and kind of shed some light on, if you're an introvert, how to embrace your introversion and how it really is a positive for you in your entrepreneurial journey. So just to kind of make something clear, if you didn't know already, I am an absolute introvert, a professed introvert, and the things that I used to think were antisocial and weird about me, I totally embrace now as just being part of being an introvert. So I'm going to kind of talk to you today about what those things are and hopefully help you if you have this kind of negative connotation around it. So the first thing I want to say is that, hi Carolina, I see you've joined. Hope you're all right, love. The first thing I want to say is that introversion, well, Carl Jung kind of coined the phrases introversion and extroversion as kind of temperaments, human temperaments. And the first thing I want to really say is that introversion is not shyness, and it's not a lack of confidence at all. So shyness can be very painful for the shy person. You know, shyness centers around, sometimes feeling very socially awkward, feeling very uncomfortable, experiencing states of anxiety, going into, social situations. And, it can be very painful for the person who is shy. Equally, it's not a lack of confidence. Introverts can be supremely confident in their own skin. And, if you've been following me for a while, you know me, you'll know that, part of my story is that I lacked confidence for many, many years. That bore no relation to the fact that I was an introvert. What my lack of confidence bore testament to was that I lacked self-worth and self-esteem. Hiya, Nikki. Good to see you, hun. Thanks for joining. So it was nothing to do with being an introvert. That lack of confidence was just purely because I had, like I say, a lack of self-worth and self-esteem. So the thing I want to say then is a couple of characteristics of being an introvert. I'm going to go through them now. The first thing is introverts tend to be in their head. So if we're thinking 80-20 rule, introverts tend to spend 80% of the time in their heads. And that's definitely true for me, and one of the biggest examples that this plays out on a regular basis, and see if this resonates with you, is that very often if I'm in the car with Jeremy and there's just us two and we're not talking, the radio's on, Jeremy will suddenly burst out laughing, or he'll kind of talk back at the DJ or comment on what was just said. And, he'll say, oh, what do you think of that? Or, oh, that was really funny. And I'll say, what? I wasn't listening. We're in this little box. There's no noise but the radio. And I'm still not listening. I'm in my head. I'm absorbed in my own thoughts. And this is common. I can very quickly zone out of conversations around me because then I go into my head. And this is a common characteristic of introversion. Introverts are highly sociable. We don't, as a rule, we're not antisocial. I love people. I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't like people. We're sociable, we love people, we love to make those connections. However, you know, we love to party, however, we know when to leave. We won't outstay our welcome. If there's the, you know, offer nowadays of a, you know, wild party or a night alone with a good book, it's a night alone with a good book. If you were to go to a party and scan the room, you would spot the introverts. They're the ones on the side, engrossed in deep conversation in pairs, or maybe three if you're really lucky. But you can spot an introvert. They're the ones having deep conversations in the corner of the room at a party. And you know, I remember as a student, so if you've ever been to uni, or you've circled with people who you know, in the drinking culture, who go on pub crawls. I was a part of that culture as a uni student, and one of the things that I found that I thought made me weird and a bit of an oddball is that culture of going on pub crawls, pub crawl after pub, pub after pub after pub in one night. And for me, the points when I was most happy in those situations was where we found a table and the small group of us, our little group, just sat and pushed on through the night, and where we just sat and talked. The moment whoever it was who kind of instigated the shift and said, right, club, let's go to a club, that for me was when the whole dynamic of the night broke down. I was like, oh, I was really enjoying it. I was really enjoying just chatting, listening, being able to talk, because obviously in a nightclub you can't talk. So doesn't make me antisocial, it just means I just like to kind of connect on that deeper level with people. There was some research done, this is really interesting, some research around kind of the temperament of introversion and extroversion. So the research was conducted with a group of babies, and this control group of babies were exposed to different stimulus. So different noises, different types of music, perhaps they were taken into a room that was unfamiliar, they were shown different objects, they were also had lemon put on their tongue, you know, the bitter taste of lemon was put on their tongue. And there was, you know, variations of reaction, but generally the babies who reacted by kind of waving their fists around and kicking their legs and turning their heads and reacting highly was kind of one reaction. Then there were the babies who kind of just were chilled, they didn't react at all, they didn't kind of flinch, they just kind of looked at the object without much expression. You know, so there were two kind of very clear, defined responses to the stimulus. The researchers tracked these babies through infancy, childhood, and then up to teens and early adulthood. What they discovered was those highly reactive babies, they were the introverts. They grew up into introverts. So that highly reactive response to new stimulus, to different things, is one of the characteristics of an introvert. And again, this completely makes perfect sense to me. It's like when I discover this stuff, I think, oh, it's okay to be me. Because, you know, being surrounded in large, noisy crowds, loud places, it just doesn't do it for me. My heart rate rises. I don't feel good. I don't enjoy it. You know, quite a few years ago when I was married to my very extroverted husband, one of the things that he loves to do, and a lot of my friends love to do, is go to, you know, weekend festivals, you know, these outdoor gigs like Glastonbury and, you know, the Leeds and Reading Festival. And I went to a couple and I didn't really enjoy them. I loved being with the friends, I loved seeing the music, but it was the vibe, it was the environment, it was that crowds, crushing crowds. Didn't enjoy it. And again, God, am I weird? Because everybody loves gigs. Who wouldn't love a Glastonbury event? I just didn't. Not my scene. Simply because I can be highly reactive to stimulus like that, and it doesn't make me feel good. So, not weird at all, just embracing my introvert. One of the other things about introversion is we don't do small talk very well. We don't like small talk. And we tend to avoid it, and I know that's certainly true for me. And again, putting it into context of an example, I used to hate going to networking events for my business And I tried again this year thinking perhaps I'm just, a miserable cow and a bit, not, do I really like people because I don't like networking events? But Jeremy goes to network events as part of his job. He really enjoys them. He's a great connector, great communicator. And I went with him this January, just gone, to a networking event. And again, found myself cringing. I hate that whole, stand up, introduce yourself for 60 seconds, then sit down, let the next person go. And you kind of move spots so that you get so many minutes to talk to somebody new. That does not work for me. I'm no good at that kind of level of connection. It doesn't work because I really avoid small talk. I find it shallow. I don't like it. Whereas Jeremy, on the other hand, I admire his ability to talk to anybody about anything with ease and really kind of be that man who breaks the ice, connects people. He can, go in and very quickly assess, do I want to continue talking to this person? No, I'll move on. He doesn't bother him. He's good at it. So yeah, don't do small talk. So the other thing that makes us sometimes feel like we're antisocial, where in actual fact we're not, is that introverts recharge and we draw our energy from within. We are internally focused beings. So, last Christmas, I had an incredible time with my family, 2 full days with my dad. Then we whizzed up the motorway to Jeremy's family, another 2 full days. And, there was loads of celebration, loads of eating, talking, drinking. It was wonderful. When I got home, I was practically catatonic. I didn't get dressed. I just stayed in my pajamas. I was embracing the fact that I know what I'm like. I need to recharge. Just, don't talk to me. I'm absolutely happy. I'm in bliss because I've spent time with amazing people who I love. But right now, I need to recharge, so I shut the door. I don't go out. I'm happy, but I'm just recharging. Equally, last year, going to those business retreats, Portugal with Jen and Sophia, going to Boston with the amazing women and my coach and Jack Canfield. Those kind of events were absolutely my bag. Deep dive conversations, breakthroughs all over the place, intense conversations, really intensive listening. Those kind of events are absolutely what I love. But then coming home, again, I was just like, right, I'm going inward now, I'm withdrawing. I stayed in my pajamas for 3 or 4 days. I didn't go out. My groceries came from the online shopping because I just needed to recharge. It's normal. Those events are highly sociable. We're talking the whole time. Doesn't make me antisocial. It means I'm just an introvert. So again, it's understanding where you get your energy from and what your needs are and what your preferences are. What else? Oh, okay, so finally then, let's just address whether introverts make good entrepreneurs. Hell yes. In fact, we do a really good job of being an online entrepreneur because the fact that, and I'm not, again, this is no detriment to extroverts. I'm purely stating the case for introverts. We make amazing entrepreneurs. Why? Because we work best alone. We are lone wolves. That's why it works really well when we can sit behind our laptops and our home office or at the dining table. We can work really well alone. So that's why it's so powerful actually to be an online entrepreneur and have that introverted temperament. So Anna is saying, I love those type of events. They're so fulfilling. You need to take time to absorb. Yeah, as well, Anna, that's a good point. Thank you for that. That when you come back, you've taken in so much that you also need to process that. You need to kind of let your brain assimilate that information. So vital extra bit of info there. Thanks for that, Anna. And you love this message. Thank you. You've got to watch the beginning. It's priceless. In terms of embracing the other elements that perhaps, once upon a time you thought was a bit weird about yourself. So we make amazing entrepreneurs. We get brilliant work done. Because we're inwardly focused, we are naturally tapping into our innate creativity. Again, doesn't mean extroverts aren't creative. All human beings are creative. People only deny or believe they're not creative because of those years of kind of ignoring it or crossing over those layers of beliefs and, you know, ignoring their inner message, inner voice. But when we're alone, the more time, this applies to extroverts as well, the more time any of us spends alone, really alone, that's when we get our most creative ideas. That's when we tap into that divine download, that inspiration. So actually, to love being alone is a really powerful characteristic and quality to have as an entrepreneur. Another bit of research that's been done around introversion and extroversion is that whilst there was a big explosion in open plan offices and I think it was called groupthink. It was called groupthink. A concept emerged maybe in the 80s and early 90s called groupthink. They started knocking down walls in offices to create open plan environments, thinking they were the best for efficiency and effectively in teamwork. And then they started endorsing groupthink. So if you want an idea to be bashed out, if you want to get, you know, a group of ideas together, then get in a room with a group of people and brainstorm. It has since been proven that this is not the most effective way to come up with ideas. When you've got an introvert in a room with other people, that doesn't inspire their best ideas. They get their most creative, their least inhibited ideas from being alone. So as research is bringing this stuff up, people are starting to recognize that. Places like Apple and Google and these other incredible, you know, companies, these innovative companies, are starting to create pods for their introverts to go and do their best work. You know, it doesn't always work that teams are best for generating brilliant creative ideas. You know, and that's again not to say that being an extrovert is a detriment to being an extrovert. People who love to collaborate and combine, and they're a force of their own. That's absolutely great. There's nothing that I'm saying that is against the extrovert. Again, I'm stating the case for the introvert. So what does Carolina say? Carolina Honey, she says, it always amazes me how corporate world understands introverts. Try saying you're an introvert on a typical job interview. Priceless. And this is absolutely, Carolina, this was the other thing, that if you were, that because you are, you know, you're considered slightly, well, antisocial, you know, not a team player, and all those kind of seemingly negative things that just, you know, it's false, it's wrong. It's just the way we process information, it's the way we best operate. It's not wrong, it's not right, it's just different. Anna's saying, I need, oh, there's a more here. I hope I don't knock this live. Ah, here we go. I need time to process everything and observe, and then I can come back with something that's clear, concise, and will have maximum impact for me and everyone else. That alone time is vital for me. You're right. That's exactly why I love being alone. My best ideas come at those times. Me too. Absolutely priceless. So we've talked groupthink. We've talked about the research, and this is the thing with the brainstorming. As introverts, it's been proven that we come up with our best, most innovative, most inspired ideas when we're alone and able to create those ideas. But the caveat there is not when we're stuck and fearful and you know, that desperate, where we're blocking the flow. It's just when we're in that creative flow. So all the stuff that made me think I was weird and antisocial and, you know, a bit of a misery, a drag at parties, because I'd be the one taking somebody aside and really diving in deep, is just because that's me being me. That's, you know, embracing the introvert. And it's no detriment to you as an entrepreneur. In fact, it's probably how you're going to create your most powerful work and create that work that will change the lives of your clients. So thank you for joining me. What a great topic. And Alpa's joined. Lovely to see you, Alpa. And I'll catch you all later. Have a great day, you sexy introverts. And I will speak to you later. Bye for now.